school and thanks for recording, Gwen, about the graduate school and all of the resources that we provide and ways that you can get involved at VSU, whether you're on campus or remote. So one way is through our Association of Graduate Students. We've got our president here with us today. Kylie is here and is going to say a few words in a few moments. But I want to make the plug for the association. As graduate students, you are all members of the association. You don't have to fill out a form. You don't have to pay a fee to join. You are all members of the association. And so I hope that you do get very involved in the organization. They host meetings every month. And there's the ability to join virtually to these meetings. So please do reach out. They are going to be the go-to people for you for social events and professional development kinds of things. We also have ways for you to be involved in the Student Government Association. One way is we've got 5 positions on the SGA board that graduate students is reserved just for graduate students. So you can serve on SGA, and I highly recommend that as well, because the SGA is where your student fee monies go. And so you can be part of those conversations of where your fees are spent. We also have the ability to request funds for graduate student travel from the SGA. So it's really nice for us to have graduate student representation on SGA. I would also invite you to attend as many events on campus if you are here in Valdosta as you can. We've got sporting events, we've got theater, we've got musical events, dance, all kinds of things that you can participate in if you are here on campus. I want to make a plug too for a graduate research symposium. So as new grad students, you're probably working with faculty that you're going to be doing some research with or research in your classes. We love to see what you're working on. And so we have this event every spring. It's in April for you to present the research that you've been engaged in with your faculty and in your programs. So please consider working with your faculty to get nominated for that event. So that more news from the grad school will come out about that, but just planting that seed. And if you are going to present your research outside of VSU, if you're going to travel to present your research at a conference, the graduate school does have some funds to help you out to do that. You can apply for up to $500 from the graduate school. And up to $300 through SGA. And if you want to learn more about that, when you get to the point of presenting research, please reach out. We'd be happy to share that information, show you where the forms are and things like that. Some resources for you. I wanted to point out that on campus, we have a study room for our graduate students. It's in the library, and the room number is 1629. There's a little passcode to open the door. So only grad students can get in. We only share this passcode with you. The passcode is 1103 to get into the study room in the library. And that's on the bottom floor, the first floor of the library. We have the graduate student resource page as well on the graduate school page, and it has all kinds of information for you there. Hopefully that would answer a lot of questions that you might have about the graduate school, theses and dissertation information. All kinds of things are located there, including the research symposium information and otherwise. It also has a link to the writing resource for you. You'll be doing a lot of writing, and there is the service called KNACK, K-N-A-C-K, is an online tutorial for writing, and it's open 24/7. It's virtual, so anyone can use it. So check that out. There are some parameters. I think there's some limitations in terms of page number, or the number of pages you can submit at a time, and certain timelines. If you have an assignment that's due in 2 weeks, I'm sure they have like a deadline for you to get it to them to get the feedback for you. But that's a great resource as well. So I do want to take a moment and introduce Rosalind Martinez. She's online with us. Rosalind has joined the graduate school just this summer, as well, just as of this month, really, August 1st. She is our graduate school program coordinator. Rosalind, do you want to say hello?
I do. Hello, everyone, and welcome to BSU. I've enjoyed reading.
Oh, you're on mute now, Rosalind.
She's freezing up a little bit.
Yeah, you might have a bad connection. I think you're connecting by phone. But let me just say on Rosalind's behalf, she is the graduate student program coordinator, and she's going to be working with students, working with you all. She is a great resource. If you are having any difficulty, feel free to reach out to Rosalind. So she's part of our graduate school staff. Is your connection any better, Rosalind? It still looks like you're frozen. We'll go ahead and move forward. Yeah, thanks. Do you want me to pass it off to Kylie? Kylie Olszewski is our president of the Association of Graduate Students, and she is with us and has a few words to say about the association. Kylie.
Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm in the second year of the English Master's program here at VSU. I am in person on campus, and I am very excited to be the president for this year. We host meetings once a month. We are going to be the last Tuesday of every month at 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. We don't have a room on campus yet, so if you're in person, I have a GroupMe link that I'm going to drop in the chat, which you guys can join, and you'll be able to get that information. And we'll also share the links to the online Teams meeting for the monthly AGS meetings as well. But yeah, I look forward to any of you guys coming to our meetings. Yeah. We have to talk a little bit about what we do, but we have resources to help you with graduation, your theses or dissertations. We have people come in and talk to do things like we host game nights, we have resume building sessions, stuff like that. But we do a lot of fun stuff, and I hope you guys are able to join us. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. David, I think it's back to you. I don't see Dr. Noviello in the room.
No, I don't. Thank you so much. Rosalind, did you need to add anything else? I don't know if your connection's back before we kick things off. I think she's trying to figure that stuff out over there. I'll be hosting tonight, and we've got a panel of 4 current students in different kind of progression during the graduate programs, and let's get some general questions I'll be asking them all evening. I will stop at a point, and I think we got people watching the chat section. So if you have a question, wait till we say, hey, we're going to open it up for questions. Time out.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry.
So we want to remember that for our fall, we've got online and on-campus programs both.
Oh, shoot.
And so we want to go ahead and split. And Dr. Downing will be taking the on-campus programs. And I think Dr. DeCruz is going with those as well.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the comment section.
There we go. So do you want to explain that, Chris, what's happening for that? I think that everyone knows, but if you'll walk through that.
Sure. So Sure. So we splitting up the face-to-face and the online groups because everybody has different questions related to each since their experience with campus is different. So right now, the people that's online is going to stay here in the room, and the people that's face-to-face, paste the link in the comment section. So click on that to go to the face-to-face student panel.
And if you're hybrid, go ahead and join the face-to-face programs.
Chris, do we have the link for the survey also?
Email it to Gwen.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I just want to say this, and thank you for catching me before I went into full host mode there, Gwen. Please take time, whether you're in the online or the face-to-face, the survey, because this helps make this whole event just a lot better for everyone involved.
All right, so to clarify, gang, if you are in an fully online program, go ahead and stay here in this Teams room. And we'll just hang out for a moment and allow folks to find their place. Yeah, Joseph, you really need, if you're in an online program, you need to be, this one is going to be more beneficial for you because it is focused on navigating online graduate work and programming. But it's great that you're close to campus. Online stays here, that's right.
If we have a second while everyone's switching over, I need to switch to the other one, but my Microsoft Teams minimized when I went to join the GroupMe, and I cannot seem to get it to go. It's just a small square. I can't seem to get it to go bigger so I can access the chat and everything else. I've hovered over like everything. I'm not sure if anyone has any advice.
Catherine, I believe I have gotten hoodwinked by Teams with that before. I think if you just do you just see your little video? Do you just have a little video window?
Now it's showing me one person and it's showing me like the option to minimize. I'm like, minimized.
Go to view.
Or if you just click on your video, or Dr. Gunn, if you're here, she is the tech wizard. Dr. Gunn, can you help us?
I was looking and you said that you can't find your way back to the main screen. Is that what you're looking? I was trying to repost the link to because I think some people came in and said they couldn't find the link to the face-to-face section. So I got a little distracted. I heard part of the problem.
It's limiting. I only have like 8 button options and it's just a small square, so I don't have access to everything, but I can like see y'all.
Hey,
right. So at the top of your screen, you don't have the 3 dots that say more action. Are you talking about the buttons at the top of the screen?
I was talking about the buttons in the small, just one person camera view I have of the current Teams meeting. It's just a small square without many options.
Can you change your view? Do you have the option to change your view? What options are you showing now?
It says minimize, show only active speakers, show more people, max. Oh, okay. I got it. Thank you for your help.
Awesome.
Thank you, Dr. Gunn.
I have an issue. Mine is saying error page. It's going to an error page when I click. Well, I was able to click it, so I sent it to myself and clicked on it, the link, and it sent me to an error page.
What link is that?
The in-person one.
Oh, you're trying to get back to the in-person.
Well, I couldn't. I clicked it and it wouldn't go to it, and then I sent the link to myself, and then when I clicked on the link, it went to an error page.
Yeah, I can't click the link either. Let me see.
It looks like Dave just reposted it so we can see if you can try that link if it'll work.
Yeah, it's still not letting you, it's still not doing anything, popping up.
Question: could it be because I'm on my iPad? I know sometimes iPad and laptops they don't work the same.
It could be. Also, I would check to see whether or not you have, well, it's not in, are you in Teams or are you in the web version of Teams in which you are using a browser to access Teams? Because sometimes that'll have an effect as well if you don't have, if you have pop-up blockers on, depending on if you're using the web version or if you're using a version of Teams that's on your computer.
I just clicked the link where it says click link here in the email, and then Teams popped up, and I, went through the whole join process.
So is a browser open? Like, does it have like Google Chrome open or?
I don't believe so. It looks like it's through the iPad phone, but I'm gonna switch to my laptop just to make it easier, because I don't want to waste everyone's time.
Right. I'm trying to download the app to see if that will work. 'Cause I still can't click on it.
While you're doing that, is it all right if we kind of move on? I know tech issues are really a pain in the behind and super stressful. So while they're figuring that out, and again, Gwen, thanks for catching me before I went full on there. I was following the script. That's the problem. You put a script in front of me, I'm going to follow it. We have a group of students who are in online programs. And the first thing here, I would like to have them introduce themselves. I'll call you out by your first name. If I mispronounce your name, please correct me and please be patient with this. And let the people in the audience know what your degree is and just a little bit about yourself. What's one of your favorite hobbies? And we'll start out. I'm just going in the order I got. Davis, could you start us off, please? You're on mute, Davis.
Whoops, I'm on mute. Hang on there, folks. No, so hi, I'm Davis. My name is Davis Ames. My degree is my undergraduate degree is in business marketing. My graduate degree ended up being it's an MBA, of course, but it's not necessarily generalized. I specialized in marketing and strategic decision making, and had a bit of a dalliance with political strategy through an internship. So, which was great, which led to a different job and all that kind of thing. So.
Awesome. And do you have a hobby of any type, Davis?
Oh gosh, yes. So as most typical any Southern guy, I tend to be a pretty big wild game hunter. I like to be out in the woods and around, just outside and outdoors, especially after being stuck in an office all week.
Awesome, thank you. Eric, could you introduce yourself to the audience and you talk about your degree program and list a hobby?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Very nice to meet you. Glad you're here. My name is Eric Fans. I am in the EDD program for Adult Learning and Development. This is my second year at VSU. Prior to the VSU program, I previously completed an associate's degree in culinary arts, had plans to become a classically trained chef, and based on a number of really meaningful and formative experiences I had with instructors and work experiences, I sort of meandered from wanting to be a chef to wanting to become a food scientist. So I did an undergrad in a program called Culinology, which is an intersection of culinary arts and product development oriented food science. I worked in the food industry for about 7 years for a grocery company doing new grocery product development. During that time, I decided to go back to school and completed my master's, which is in food science and human nutrition. So I was able to sort of build on my culinary interests and product development experiences with some advanced human nutrition knowledge, and through those experiences sort of meandered to a place of having a really strong interest in educating the next generation of food product developers to create products that aren't just fantastic and delicious, but are also really great for the US and for the world. So I, from an interest perspective, am looking to, as part of my research at VSU, explore some aspects most closely related to food safety and how dietitians and human nutrition adjacent practitioners essentially impart food safety values and communication to the public and in professional settings. So how do we develop cultures of food safety and nutritious food in a lot of different environments? I'm a food guy. I have been a food guy for a long time. So in terms of hobbies, I cook pretty much every day. I love to bake. I have a really big garden in my backyard, so grow a lot of produce. I've got some peaches and apples and raspberries and stuff growing right now. Yeah, and I've had a really fantastic experience at VSU so far.
Cool. Thank you so much, Eric. And if I mispronounce your name, is it Ariel?
That's close. It's Ariel.
Thank you so
So
much.
you did well.
Ariel. What's your degree in? What are you getting your degree in right now? And what's a hobby you have?
Sure. So my name is Ariel Polite, and I am currently working on my EDD in leadership with a focus in higher education. And so I am actually 8 weeks from defending my dissertation. So I am at the tail end of my program. Thank goodness.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. So I live in Graniteville, South Carolina. It's right outside of Augusta, Georgia. So not too far from VSU, maybe 4 or 5 hours away. So I've been to the campus. It's very beautiful. My first degree was a bachelor's degree in chemistry. And then I got my Master of Arts in Teaching Chemistry. And this shall be my last degree. I am tired. I've been in education for 11 years now. I'm currently a dean at a technical college. So it's been a very different and challenging role, but I quite enjoy it. A few of my hobbies, well, I'm a mother, so, that entails a lot, but I love to try new food. So, traveling to different cities, going to popular restaurants or smaller mom and pop restaurants. I love trying new food and just seeing what cultures, have to offer. So it sounds like I need to get with Eric so I can try some of his food as well.
Awesome.
Yes,
Thank you
but
for
that's
sharing.
a bit about me. Mhm.
Excellent. Sorry, I stepped on you there, Ariel.
No, you're good.
Tyreen, let the audience know what your degree in is and what's a hobby you have.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Tyreen Maddox, and I am in my 3rd term. My degree will be a Master of Arts in Teaching and World Language. So the goal is to teach English as a foreign language. I desire to visit different countries where this need is warranted, and that's how I hope to spend, I would say, the next several years, traveling to different places to be able to teach English as a foreign language. My hobby is more or less a lifestyle. I love to travel.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. So what we're going to do here to people is I'm just going to ask questions. I'm going to call you out and they'll go through order and I'll flip flop it around. And for this first question, we will start. I'm going to start with Davis again this time, and everybody's going to get the same question here. So Davis, I'm putting you on the spot. What is one misconception you had about graduate school?
Ooh, okay. Great question. Thank you for asking. I was hoping that I would get that one. So one of the misconceptions about graduate school is that there is a lot of work. There is, do not get me wrong. But I'm going to speak from my experience, which is the business program. I absolutely adore business. Everything business is, put me in, coach. I work in real estate development now. I've done everything from lifeguarding to politics to a variety of different things. So, I feel like I have a wide berth when it comes to being able to speak on a couple of things. But in the business school, it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. You are going to work your life away. But one of the common misconceptions, I think, is that the work is hard and that, you're there to work. you're not there to work in the graduate program at the business college, in my opinion. You are there to learn. Never, ever let your education get in the way of your learning. That said, when you see MBA students on TikTok or Instagram or something like that, they're never, yes, they're doing their schoolwork and stuff like that, but they're all going on trips together. They're going, they're learning how to network. They're going on trips together. They're going, skiing or, to the beach or all these different places. It's more about networking, in my opinion, than it is about sitting there doing classwork. For me, it was, I never let my education get in the way of my learning, if that makes sense.
100%. Before I move on to Eric to ask the same question, Dr. Gunn or Gwen, did you see was it Nemia's having problems logging in right now to the thing? So, all right, Eric, same question. What's a misconception you had about graduate school before you started?
That is a good question. So I think for me, I had maybe a similar experience. My perspective was that starting in my master's program specifically, and I feel like this experience is carried on into doctoral study at VSU. I had some preconceived notions that the coursework itself and the expectations associated with the coursework would just become increasingly difficult. And in terms of like mental challenge, the amount of time that I would have to spend studying or completing exams or doing practical school things that I felt like I did a lot of during my undergrad study. And what my experience was, or has been that graduate study has been a really great opportunity as somebody with a pretty broad food undergraduate education to begin to sort of specialize and focus on topics that are a little bit more interesting and specific. So I feel like I learned a lot of foundational stuff in my undergrad, and shifting to grad study, I've been able to focus more keenly on topics that are specialized, that are of interest. So instead of learning about, all of these different categories of food products and how they are composed on a molecular level or how they're made on a biological level, I get to learn about the implications of these products in different processing environments and how we transform these products into a lot of different things. And the content was it felt more engaging, and it has felt and feels more like problem solving and less like a collection of information. The material feels more engaging. It feels more focused. I thought it would just be more time, more effort, more mental stress. And even though I would say that maybe the net amount of time that I spend thinking about or focusing on my education is maybe more than it was at undergrad, because it's so relevant and topically specific, it feels more fun. It feels more engaging. It feels more applicable and relevant to the things that I'm interested in. So it's just, I feel like the more education that I have picked up over time, the more jazzed I get about picking up more education. So I feel like my cup just sort of gets bigger and I can hold more information, and it's just been really positive. And I didn't expect that. I thought it would just get harder and more demanding, but it's really just opened up my mind and my brain and my viewpoints to a lot of different things.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh man. Ariel, did I get it right that time?
Ariel.
Dang it. I'm psyching myself up. Same question. Okay. What's one misconception you had before going back, particularly as a doctorate program? If people are thinking about that.
I'll be brief. So, as I already mentioned, I have my undergraduate degree in chemistry, and then my master's degree was a Master of Art in Teaching Chemistry. So when I got accepted to the program, I thought, okay, I can do this. It'll be not quite a breeze, but it'll be easy because I've written lab reports before, long lab reports, 20, 30 pages. You know, I've done chemistry research in undergrad, so I know how to do research and I know how to write. And then I get into my courses and I'm like, oh, this is a different type. Different type of writing, different type of research. And, you know, I just had to catch that learning curve really quickly. You know, it's challenging. It requires a lot of perseverance. It's doable, but it's definitely just different from my master's and bachelor's experience. So that's definitely one misconception I had.
Oh, thank you. Tyreen, same question here. What's one misconception you had before about grad school?
Absolutely. So for me, there's like a two-parter. The first would be that there was an age attached to master's degree. So like you all, I was on this call at the beginning of my term and just felt excited to see the diversity. So that is absolutely not true. I feel like from the student that just graduated to the new mom to the grandmom, like or the grandfather, anybody is open and wanting to learn can come and earn their master's degree. So that was first and foremost. And then the other thing is because it is an online program, this idea of not being able to be properly supported by your teachers just because of the dynamics of the classes, well, that's just absolutely not true. I have experienced great connections with my faculty, almost as if I was in person. But part of that is just the availability, the teachers literally making themselves available, setting up specific times for us to chat virtually and really creating a community. So like I said, this is my third term and I'm so excited to get through the fall because my experience thus far with spring and summer has been absolutely amazing. And then I also have a comparison because this is my second master's. So a long time ago, I got an MBA and the experience was different. We were literally required to answer 2 discussion questions and complete a quiz. Right. So anything outside of that was pretty much the onus on the student. But I love the way that the classes here are facilitated. I definitely feel like I'm a part and I definitely feel supported.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that. It was a great answer, Tyree. Aurel, I would like to ask you this question as someone who's gone through and is in the doctorate program for out there, and they want to go and kick the can down their own. What are the steps you think need to be taken to be on the right track your first semester? Because that can be really scary.
It can be. Like I said, it's definitely different from any other experience I've had. So I would recommend first just being comfortable and familiar with your advisor because they are somebody who can answer so many questions for you. My advisor actually changed throughout my program, but they both were just very resourceful. If I had any questions about what classes I needed to take in which order, how long it would take, things of that nature, they were always happy to help. So definitely become familiar with your advisor. Don't just reach out to them when it's registration time. Ask them any questions you may have. Also, review your APA manual immediately, right away. Because for me, I didn't use APA with chemistry. So when I jumped in, I was like, this is different. You're going to use it for your entire program. So review the APA manual immediately. And lastly, I would say just be engaged with everyone when you do your assignments. If there's group meetups or they have the roundtables in the summer, be engaged, do as much as you can with other people so you can make connections and really just have that online community so that you don't feel alone. Those are my suggestions.
Cool. Those are great suggestions as well. Eric, same question. What's a step or two that people need to take to be on the right track for their first semester? And just try to keep it a little bit shorter on this one.
Yep. So I would say get comfortable with the library resources that are available. So get to know the librarians, get to know all of the different search engines and things that are available through the library would be step one. So get acclimated to the library and then set yourself up with a reasonably well-organized system for starting to compile literature. So whatever that looks like for you, however you need to design your shelves, your buckets, whatever you want to call them, to put the different pieces of research and reading together that you will, starting on your first semester, begin to collect and interface with. As soon as you start putting that stuff on the shelf and label it and understand it and realize that it might not seem relevant today, but there's a good chance you'll come back to it in 6 to 8 months and realize, oh, that was actually very important and I should have organized that more effectively. So I would say, yeah, definitely organizing your literature, getting comfortable with the library. And that will set you up for success regardless of what course you're in, particularly at the doctoral level, because there will be expectations for you to operate pretty independently and to keep your own research and literature very organized.
Thank you so much, Eric. Tyreen, same question. What is a step or two that people need to take, you think, to help them be prepared for grad school?
It's time management and organization, just a little bit off of what Eric was saying, but more specifically, your organization. How are you going to plan out the time needed to study, to complete your assignments? I brought a lot of stress on myself for the first session because I didn't plan accordingly. So I knew that there was work to be done and it had a designated date, but how would I fit that into my day-to-day schedule with other things that I had going on where I could designate that time? So figuring out some sort of time management system, I think, is key. That'll eliminate like any bouts of like, when am I going to get this done, or how long is it going to take? Because something as small as adding it to your Outlook calendar or using designated days throughout the week to say Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, focus on school. I'll have the weekend for myself, versus how I completely did it a little backwards with like, okay, I'll get to it. I know it's due Sunday, and then all of a sudden it's Sunday and you have a pile of work to do. And so that was a disadvantage for me, but learning from that, being more organized, you'll realize that you have more time than you actually had.
Cool. Thank you so much. I see that there's a hand up. If that's a question for the panelists, I will get to you as we kind of move to that. There's a few more questions that I want to do. So I do see that right there. Davis, could you, what's something you could add to that question? Is there like, what's a step or two you need to take to be on the right track your first semester?
I would say that time management is a big one. You know, because when I first started my master's, my MBA, I jumped into a political internship with a lady by the name of Miss Merritt Wall, who works for VSU. She works in lobbying and things like that. You know, and time management was tough. There were days that I was working, you know, I was pulling roughly a 18-hour day sometimes, and getting up, doing school, not necessarily going to work, but monitoring legislation. And then I would come back and I would work on school some more, and then I would go straight to bed, do it right all over again in 6 hours. So, you know, it was a lot, but at the same time, it was also enjoyable. But definitely time management is a huge one.
Excellent. I'm gonna open it up. Let me do one more question, then I'll open it up to the floor right here. Eric, I want to start you off with this question. Is we always hear failing's a bad thing, but I think in school it's a super important part of the learning process. What's one example have you learned from failing while in grad school? And I'm not just talking about grade level, but just mistakes you've made.
Yeah, so I think Ariel mentioned that her experience coming out of a chemistry education program and moving into an education doctoral program, the writing expectations were very different. I had a very similar experience. So coming out of my master's program, which was also very much sciences oriented, I didn't do a whole lot of analytical writing that was from my point of view. I feel like I did a lot of research and a lot of reporting about information and talking about information. But the expectations of having a point of view are different at the doctoral level. So the first paper I wrote when I started doctoral study was probably the worst grade I've ever gotten on any assignment that I've ever completed. And it was initially a really hard lesson to learn. Just the nature of the sort of student I am, had lost a lot of sleep over a lot of years, beating myself up over making sure I get excellent grades. And I was kind of stunned, kind of jarred by that experience. So it was an important experience for me to have. And I learned a lot about how the expectations from programs will vary. So if you're coming from one program type and you're starting the program at VSU, be open to the criticism that you will get from your instructors, and get comfortable with the idea that the process of doctoral study and work is a cycle of criticism, and getting getting to a place of feeling like you've got some pretty thick skin is really important. So I'd say for me, that experience of getting a big fail on the first paper I ever wrote at the doctoral level was impactful, and it set me up to shift mentally to a place of being much more open to being receptive to criticism.
Cool. Thank you for sharing that story there, Eric. Tyreen, what have you learned from a failure while in grad school?
Man, this one really hit home for me, because the goal coming in was like, I'm a 4.0 student, right? So I'm just going to get A's in everything. Well, in most of your classes, you're going to have like an end of the term project or poster or some research paper. But what I failed to do throughout is really utilize my resources. So the entire term, the teacher provided resources. She provided class time to be able to ask questions. And so I would just say the biggest lesson for me is making sure that I utilize my resources, because fast forward to the end of spring term, I was all excited about my research project and totally missed one part of the rubric, causing me to not get as good of a grade on that, causing my A to be a B, and I was devastated. And the teacher literally the faculty literally pointed out, there was just this one missing piece. You know, had you added this, it could have been a higher grade, because I told her from the beginning, the goal is an A. But I gave myself grace, right? It was a lesson learned. So in all of that, you have to understand that even failure is an opportunity to grow. And so I took that and I applied that to my summer courses, and I got 2 A's. So it can be done.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that story. Davis, what's an example of you learned from failing while in grad school?
Well, not to pat myself on the back here, but I am going to tell you I never made anything below an A the entire time.
Well, this is not necessarily always grades. This is about like an experience you have.
Right. I was about to jump into that, but I was making a joke. Anyway, no. So my grades were pretty good. So my failure actually came in my personal life, in the sense of I had to learn a bunch of different things, and one of those things, again, don't let your education get in the way of your learning. One of those things is self-confidence. I'll be completely and totally honest with you. I am by nature a more shy person than I would like to admit to a degree, but learning how to open up and be a personable figure was tough for me, and confidence was tough for me. I was not confident in my work at all, and I had a great I had a great professor at one point, Dr. Amy Watson, if any of you know her. She made me listen to a podcast at one point, and it said, you know, it doesn't matter what your work is, because whether you're 80% and you're 100% are two different things to you. A lot of times you figure out pretty dang quick when you're in that time crunch that your 80% is pretty dang good. And so it was awesome to be able to see that, because a lot of times when I would have to get in those time crunches and learn to be confident in my work and that my 80% was pretty dang good, my professors couldn't tell the difference between my 80% and my 100%. And I made an A the entire time through it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And we'll say the last person on this one is Ariel. What's an example of something you've learned as having a failing experience in grad school?
Sure. I've learned that failing is a part of the process. There will be something that you think you're good at or proficient at, and then you'll get the feedback and your instructor may say, not quite. And so, you know, just because those experiences occur, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It just means it's time for you to grow. This is an opportunity to learn, to grow. You're not a failure. And it is okay to cry, because I've cried at least 2 times in this program. Let it out, bounce back, use your resources to get better. It is not the end of the world. So just because we have those setbacks, it doesn't mean that you stay in that area. You use what you can to move forward.
I'd like to give a round of applause to that statement, Ariel, because that was fantastic. I 100% agree. It is absolutely okay to cry.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you again for sharing that story. I know sometimes it's difficult, and sometimes it's nice to hear those stories and the human side of it, that we all have those moments where we struggle with that. I'm gonna probably kill the name. I'm gonna try my best. Kimmy has had their hand up for a long time and has a question. If you have a question, raise your hand up. I'll try to get you as soon as I can, or if you want to type it in, we'll try to get to that, and then a couple more questions and kind of wrap stuff up. So yes, Kimmy, did I get that correct? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Okay, yeah, correct.
And what's your question?
Oh, my hand wasn't up.
Okay.
I mean, I'm falling. I don't have a question for now.
Well, all right. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but if you do have a question, let us know. All right.
Okay, thank you. I sure will.
Yes. I see Michael has his hand up.
Yeah, so the one question that I had was, you talked about the great library resources. Can you talk about what the best way for an online student to access those resources are?
When do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I sure will. Thank you for asking that question. What program are you in?
DPA.
Okay, okay, excellent. So there's two things. One, often faculty for doc program especially will have embedded librarians. So that'll be when you log into our learning management system called BlazeVIEW, which will open Monday morning. When you log in that module in your various courses, there will often be a module for an embedded librarian, and your faculty member will talk through that and talk about their role within the course. So they'll help you search literature, understand what our databases are, what our available subscriptions are, things like this. The other thing is, and there's often someone, then that reference librarian, you can email them, you can set up meetings right from your course in BlazeVIEW. So it's super convenient. The other thing you can do, oh, thanks, David, is right there, exactly what I was going to share with you. There's tons of resources on ODM's website as well. Lots from LibGuides to just tons of different marvelous stuff, because if I haven't mentioned, they are the most magical, wonderful people for academicians. So, well, they are academicians and they help the rest of us stay like between the lines. So those are the two ways in which to access those resources. Okay?
Thank you.
Does that hopefully that helps?
It did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just check out that link, and there's a lot of great resources for students, and feel free to use the chat function or and reach out to them. They're there to help you out. So they're super good, but Gwen knows why I'm biased towards the librarians here. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna Sonomi Ian. Oh, last name's better. Did you have a question?
Yes, hello. It's pronounced cinnamon.
Oh, well, thank you for being patient, not yelling at me.
No
about that.
worries. I did have a question. I just want to thank you guys for sharing your stories and answering the questions. Your insight is really.
Cinnamon, you just broke up there.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what you guys heard, but I just want to say that the current students' insight was really appreciated. So thank you guys for answering those questions. I wanted to know, at what point do we get assigned like a specific advisor? Ariel talked about how she met with her advisor and is encouraging us to meet with our advisors to kind of map out our course of how we want to plan our graduate studies. And I did reach out to the general advisor, and they advised that we will be assigned one maybe in the middle of the semester. Is there like a more specific time frame for when the advisor gets assigned, or what we should be looking out for?
I don't know if students want to answer that, because I imagine each program is going to be a little. Are you what program are you again? You may have said that. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry.
No worries, I didn't. MLIS.
MILS. So, is there anybody that's do we have an MLIS?
Yeah, Debbie's. I don't think that Debbie. Are you in here? I don't think she was going to be here tonight. So Debbie, Dr. Cruz.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yay, Debbie.
Debbie, could you address that question?
I absolutely can. And welcome. I'm so glad to have you in the MLAS program. I am one of the faculty in the program. I'm a lecturer. So we have, no, there is, to answer your question directly, no. The short answer is no, there's not a specific date. The long answer is that in the foundations class, which all MLIS students take in their first semester, in that class, you will actually have an assignment where you will be creating your program of studies. And so, and in that process, you will also be assigned your permanent faculty mentor.
Thank you so much. That's perfect.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to kind of move on. If you have another question, I'm going to do one more section of Q&A from it. But also, I've been noticing a lot of people have been asking questions, and Ariel has been just killing it and getting all their fandom up there, all their flowers and everything going on. So just keep posting those up, and we'll try to keep up with them. But those are great questions. This question, I want to start off with Tyreen. How do you handle, particularly as like someone who's always going for the best, work-life balance between school and family, personal life on that? Because I think that's super important to keep that balance going on, to keep your sanity.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely, for me, if I'm gonna work hard, I definitely want to play hard. Like that's been my motto throughout this entire time, because there's a lot of time invested with grad school. And so just keeping in mind that you need to save some you time. If you go hard for a week, maybe decide the following week for a couple days, you're just gonna relax, watch your favorite TV show, or like I like to do, go to the beach and just kind of unwind. That's super important, because I feel like the overindulgence is, again, what can lead to stress and kind of like have you worrying about the possibility of not doing well. Once you everybody needs a chance to kind of decompress and then come back to. And so for me, it's always been refreshing to just take a day or to just do nothing on a Saturday, so that when it's time to get back into the grind of the work, that I am ready, fully, like mentally charged and ready to go.
Thank you. Thank you for that one. Ariel, how do you handle it as a mom, a dean, and as a student at the same time? That's a lot. You a lot of balls in there you're juggling.
Yes. So planning ahead. And I probably over plan, but it works for me. When I first started my program, I actually had a physical calendar and I would write down everything. My classes were in different colors of due dates. Now I've transitioned to using my Outlook calendar. And it still works for me, but I plan. I think it was Tyreen who mentioned this earlier. You might have an assignment due Sunday. Well, when are you going to work on that assignment? When are you going to carve out that time to say, I'm going to complete 2 sections today. I'll complete the next section on Thursday. You have to plan ahead. And that works for me. As you mentioned, Dr. Nelson, I'm a mother, I'm a dean. In 2025 alone, I got married and I'm 7.5 months pregnant. So if I don't plan, it will not get done. So plan. And remember, it's okay if things do not go according to plan. You just got to pivot. Always have a backup plan. And lastly, I would say build time in for rest, because you do not want to overwork yourself. Build a day in for rest, for self-care, for family time, for things you like to do. So plan, have a backup plan, and build in time for rest. Use your Outlook calendar.
Congratulations on those successes and those personal successes there with the marriage and the child on the way there. All right.
Thanks.
Eric, how do you do work-life balance? How do you handle that?
Yeah, so I work full-time. So I'm a food scientist, 9 to 5, still working in industry. I have a 2-year-old at home, and I am in a doctoral program. So it can be a lot of balls in the air all the time. The secret sauce for me for work-life balance is making sure that I have some routine things that are not necessarily my school things. So I like to go on a short walk every single day, 30 minutes. It clears my head. It lets me focus maybe on school, maybe on other things. I find that when I have other routine things in my life that are not necessarily school, it feels easier for me psychologically to kind of block school around those other routine things. Like I can just bolt school before, or I can bolt school after I go on my walk. I find that really helpful. Having a place where you feel like you can focus on school in a relatively uninterrupted way is also pretty important. And I know that can be hard if you have kids at home, if you have a spouse at home, if you're working a lot. I try to carve out at least 2 or 3 days a week where I go either to a local coffee shop that I love, that I know is quiet, and take 90 minutes to 2 hours to just focus and do a nice chunk of work to knock out. I have a library that's down the street from me, so it's not the VSU library, but it's a lovely little county library that is quiet and it's well maintained, and the internet connection is great, and I can just go there and know that any distractions that I have at home, whether they are positive and good distractions or negative distractions, just won't be there. So having a place to focus and making sure that you have the ability to take care of yourself with some routine activities that help you stay calm and focused are really important. So have a good place that's calming and empowers you to focus, and have some routine stuff in your life. Seems to work really well for me.
Thank you. And Davis, how do you balance work life with working full time and going to school? You're on mute, sir. There, just to let you know.
Good grief. Second time I've done that this call. So that's a great question. I just recently finished my course load. So I would say that because I haven't, so with the current job that I'm in now, I haven't had any school to worry about. But in previous positions, especially when I was doing political consulting, not necessarily on the lobbying side, I had done some freelance political consulting. That was a lot of, there was no balance, because sometimes I was rolled out of the bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, needing to be on a call for an advisory position on certain levels. So, I think that balance was very hard for me, mainly because of the nature of what I was doing during my time as a master's student. So I would say that balancing my life was a little bit more driven by thought than anything, because I had a very close person to me tell me at one point, don't ever give up on your education. Your education is your superpower. And I believe that to be true. And so for me, even though I might have been rolled out of the bed at 3 o'clock one morning or 2 o'clock or different things to advise on something, it was, I got to push through this day so that I can get my schoolwork done, because eventually one day my education will be my superpower. And so for me, that was something that was a driving force.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to start off with you on this one, Davis. What is in your grad school survival kit?
Ooh, definitely a very strong computer. You're going to need your computer, a well-pressed suit, and a couple of quotes for sure. Your education is your superpower. Never let your education get in the way of your learning. And, definitely dressing for what you want to do, because when you look good, you feel good. So, go take time to dress well, to go out and, work on yourself in some way, right? So I always had this other quote that I used a lot, called never have a zero day, meaning whether you work on yourself physically, going to the gym, going for a run, mentally working on school, working on your your brain health, going to therapy or something like that, or emotionally, keeping your head in check, getting your brain some exercise, going to therapy, going to, have a way to talk about things and taking care of oneself. So those are probably the things that would be in my grad school survival kit. The 2 quotes in the sense of, never let your education get in the way of your learning. The other one, oh gosh, what was the other one that I just said? Oh, your education is your superpower. No 0 days, a well-pressed suit, and learning how to dress for what you want.
Thank you. Eric, what's in your grad school survival kit?
I would say for me, I will put it in the chat. There's a specific piece of software that I love to use called Airtable that has a free version that I like to use to organize my literature. I use it as a repository to drop all of my project work at the end of the semester. It helps me stay super duper organized. So for me, it's Airtable. For somebody else, it could be Google Drive, if that's what you're comfortable with, or if you're comfortable with the way Teams is formatted and that aligns with your life and your computing preferences, that's cool too. But have some piece of software that empowers you to stay organized in all aspects of the work that you're doing. And keep your materials consolidated to that place. It will be super helpful. It will set you up for success. I also have a few vices. I like to enjoy the beer at the end of the day. I like to go on my walks. Like you've got to have a good pressure valve release as part of that kit, and give yourself the opportunity to blow off some steam every once in a while, to take breaks, and allow yourself the time you need to relax. Because if you let yourself get so tightly wound with the schoolwork you have going on, and I acknowledge that it's very challenging when you have work, family, school, and all these different things happening, make sure you have your thing. If it is a cup of coffee every morning that brings you a whole lot of joy, that's something that I love. So give yourself something to blow off steam, give yourself something to stay super duper organized. And I think the last thing would be to not put too much pressure on yourself. I think my experience has been that when I share with people that I have chosen to go back to school and I'm pursuing doctoral study and trying to balance that with my life, I feel like I end up soliciting a lot of feedback that's like, oh my God, wow, that's so impressive. That must be so hard. Like you have all this stuff that you're trying to achieve, and that can feel really good and that can feel really empowering. But at the same time, you might sort of passively be building this stress on yourself that you don't realize, which again goes back to having those stress relief options. So having good mental health and an understanding of why you are choosing to pursue your study is important. Steam release valves. And yeah, some good stuff to stay organized.
Thank you very much, Eric. Ariel, what's in your grad school toolkit?
Okay, it's quite simple. First, I like to use Zotero, which somebody mentioned in the chat earlier, just to organize all of my articles and sources and everything. It saves it right to your computer, so maybe you forgot to copy a DOI or something, or forgot who the author was. It's right there in Zotero. Click it, boom, article pops up. Been so helpful. Like David said, a really good laptop. A really good one, because the last thing you want is for your laptop to die or something, and you can't access any of your work. My laptop, this one is on its last leg, and so sometimes the screen doesn't turn on, and I panic. But everything's saved in multiple places.
Yeah, a good hard drive too. A great hard drive.
Yes, you've got to save your stuff in multiple places. So, in addition to my trusty laptop, I do have my dual monitors. I cannot work without my dual monitors. I need them. So I actually have 3 screens in front of me right now. I need them. Also, I would say my APA manual, because you've got to get it right. And then finally, just some snacks and some coffee, because there will be many late nights. At least there was for me. So snacks and coffee.
For the people in the back.
Pulling those 18-hour days.
Davis, I'm glad you mentioned the external hard drive, because if you've ever had something die on you, back it up. You have to remind yourself on
multiple locations, yes.
Yeah. Tyreen, same question. What's in your grad school survival kit?
Yeah, mine's is encompassed of a few things, but I just started implementing this, I would say, over the summer. So now I've learned to prepare the day before. So I'm also a grad assistant. So part of that is like, in addition to my schooling, I have a schedule that I have to adhere to as a grad assistant. So making sure I have all of my materials and everything, even down to like what I'm wearing to the grad assistant job the day before, because that kind of takes the stress out of the morning, trying to figure out those pieces that I'm going to need throughout the day. I agree with all of my fellow peers in terms of the laptop, but also make sure you have a charger. There's been a time or two when I've had the trusty laptop and forgot the charger. So that's super important. Coffee for me is on an as needed basis, but if there's just something to make you smile, like a refresher or a nice glass of water or a Gatorade, those things are important because it adds to your day. And then a big one for me is learning to be present. We're multitasking often, but I have learned to be present in each thing that I am being exposed to. So, for example, if I'm up in the morning, getting myself ready, I'm being present. I'm not already thinking about what the day is going to be like at the grad school. I'm not thinking about anything else going on in my life. I'm thinking about getting ready. On the car ride, I may listen to some soothing music just to kind of, calm any nerves or just kind of just to start my day. And then by the time I'm at the grad school, I'm focused and I'm ready to get the day started with whatever task that I have. So being present is a big part of my survival kit because it's important for me to do that because I tend to, once that's established, that the focus is easy from that point on. And that also allows me to be my best self when I choose to be present in all the things that I have going on as a grad assistant and a grad student.
Thank you so much. I want to open it up if anybody has any questions, and then we'll do the final question. I know we got a little bit of late start because we had some tech issues, but one question I want to answer is everybody's like, when do we get access to the BlazeVIEW on our shelves? Those will open Monday. Enjoy the weekend. The fun will start on Monday. That's when the real adventure was. So, and if you do have issues logging onto that, make sure you contact IT and let your advisors and your people within your department know that you have that. Gwen, did you have a question?
Yeah, Dave, I think one time that we were doing this, when we had a little extra time, we did a screen share to show folks how to access BlazeVIEW, what it would look like. So if anyone is interested when we get to the end of this, I'm happy to do that. I happen to have it open on my laptop because, still prepping for Monday. So anyway, it's an offer if anyone needs it when we get done with this.
Ooh.
Does that make sense? That was a lot of words. Okay.
I know it's been a long day for a lot of, I'm seeing some yeses in there. Does anybody from the audience have any questions for our panel? I'm just going to embrace the awkward silence here while I see somebody has their hand up. Gwen, that was you. So I'm going to, there we go. Stop it.
Oh, come on, y'all. Ask the questions. I know y'all got them.
Hello, I'm Lakeisha here. I posted a question inside of the chat. I heard I believe it was Tyreen say that she is a grad assistant. Is that something that's available for online students to do? Not now, but like in the future.
So it depends on the position. I've learned in this position that they do have some remote options.
No, I'm sorry, Tyreen, I need to interject.
Okay.
That is not true. Previously, we could have remote, but not now. You can be in an online program, but your GA-ship would have to be on campus.
Got it. Thank you for that. Yeah, obviously in the past, so I did hear it in passing, but I'm physically on campus. So I actually live in Valdosta, so definitely maybe 20 minutes from the school. So that allows me to go in person to be able to do my grad assistant job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that, Gwen.
Yes.
Is it Julie? I'm going to say Julie is your name. He has her hands up.
Yeah, hi, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
So it's been 10 years since I've done my grad school, master's degree. So I'm currently going for my EDS and teaching leadership with the Tier 1 add-on. My question to you is, if you are this will be my first semester, so going in with at least 9 credit hours, 6 to 9 credit hours, how many hours of study time or researching time would you say that we would be putting in a week?
So you're taking how many hours are you taking this semester? Again, one more time.
I am taking I'm taking 3 classes. So
Okay.
that's, yeah, 3, 6, 9.
It's been a while since I've been in the game, so I'm going to put it out to those students because I romanticize my grad school now. I don't complain. I forgot what I hated about it. So
yeah, I'm just kind of curious how many hours I should kind of dedicate myself to my studies. Just because right now I think I have to take that EDU 599 intro class, and then the teaching leadership, and then there's another class. So one, there's no credit, but it's 3
I mean, I'm going to
classes.
go to RL. How do you balance? I mean, what's your study versus class time? How do you figure out what's the appropriate amount to study while balancing?
Absolutely. So I do think for every individual, there is a little bit of trial and error. Some people work faster than others. Some people just need a little more time to, find that rhythm, find that flow. But I will say, if you're taking 3 classes and they all are probably 3 credit hours, or 3 contact hours, if you will, because they're kind of like general education classes. So for every hour you spend in class, which would be the 3, you should probably expect to spend an hour outside of class. Now, again, that might vary based on your flow, who you are, but you really got to get in and just kind of see. But it definitely takes some time. Now, I know we're doing asynchronous, so things are online. You're not technically in a physical classroom, but really just kind of do those first assignments and really see, okay, it takes me 3 days to write a 10-page paper, or it takes me 1 day. If you're that good, you really have to find your rhythm. And that's kind of what I did. That first semester, I had to play it by ear, trial and error. I saw Dr. R, you had a comment about that? Go ahead. I want to learn.
Okay. Do you have any research classes in the EDS? I don't know that curriculum.
Let's see, looking at my classes right now. Sorry.
No, it's okay. But Julie, this is what and I would say this to everyone, is the amount of time that you have to invest in any given course is going to be a strong function of what that course is. So research courses are going to, just by nature, they're going to demand more of you than, say, a content course, because they're more proximal to you, right? You already know your content, your discipline. Research is something that's more distal, so that takes more learning, that takes more time, or it takes more time. So you got to plan to invest more time in that. And there's often more reading for research courses. So that's one thing. And now it's been a minute, like Dr. Nelson, it's been a minute for me since I've defended, but I did not have a one-to-one relationship. If I had a 3-hour course, I didn't spend 3 hours outside of class on that. It was all weekend, right? So I had a little different experience from what Ariela's describing. But I think she makes a fantastic point that it's going to be trial and error. And remember that you will regress to the mean, meaning you'll find your true score. Once you work with it a little bit that first semester into your second semester, you'll find your groove and you'll regress. You'll regress to the mean. You'll find your path. Julie, does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I guess I just wanted to make sure that I'm setting myself up for success, because right now, my first semester, I'm taking the foundation of teaching leadership, and then the professional orientation, and then the leadership communication public relation course. So I'm just trying to figure out the amount of work that I have to put in, or if I need to just drop one and just kind of start off slow, just trying to get a feel for it, because it's been 10 years since I'm not, since I last went to college and did papers.
Gotcha.
I know Davis had his hand up real quick. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna piggyback off of that for a minute, Julie. One thing that I would tell you is be smart with it. If you're nervous that perhaps you might have too full of a load, go with your gut. But at the same time, that I would say that I would agree that there isn't necessarily a 1-to-1 ratio. Some of us are slower learners. For me, yes, but my grades came first. And again, your education is your superpower. It is worth the investment.
And I'll just quickly add, you're going to feel lost, and it takes a little couple weeks. It's like what Gwen was saying earlier, is it's like, oh, and then as you get towards the end of the semester, and then I call it get your groove on and figure out your workflow. So it's that balance, everything, and it takes time. And if you're struggling, ask your peers. Your peers are probably, you talk about superpowers, like, hey, ask if you can talk to somebody who's in your program and like, how did you balance this out? Or if you have somebody at your workplace, rely on those. Those are another resources that we don't always talk about a lot of times.
Not only that, but don't be afraid to. Sorry, I totally interrupted you there for a minute, but not only that, but ask for help. Just in general, professors have office hours for a reason. Utilize them, people.
So, did we answer your question, Julie? Awesome. All right. I don't know if anybody's had any other question. I'm seeing a lot of people, like, again, share, connect, whatever you're comfortable with as far as information. Rising tide lifts all ships. Use that cliche. Help each other out. I say this, and I hopefully Gwen has the same thing. I still work and hang out at conferences. Like, I'm working on some research projects with buds from grad school. So the people around you in your programs are great resources, and also people you can collaborate with down the road in a lot of instances. So please keep that in mind. My last question, and then I got to share the survey, and Gwen will go on and share what BlazeVIEW kind of looks like in there is, okay, and I'm going to just go in the same order we started in, and we're going to start with you, Davis. The question is, what is one opportunity these young scholars should take advantage of as a graduate student?
Great question. Fantastic question. So if I had to answer that one, it would be that, well, there are several. It's really hard to narrow that down. Number one, but if I could put it into all encompassing, I would say that take advantage of your professors, in the sense that they are there to help you. Why would you not go to their office hours? They are there for that reason, for you to ask questions. And I guarantee you that there is not a professor at VSU, at least in the business college, that doesn't want you to succeed. They all are there for your benefit. Utilize those office hours. Professors also, one thing that I've learned, professors value you more as a student when you are willing to ask the questions. Go out, and if you think that you have a tough question, ask it, because I guarantee you that they are going to go out and they are going to work their self to death trying to find the answer to your question. And if they can't answer it, they're going to find somebody who can. So utilize the relationship that you have with your professor. Awesome. Because again, your education is your superpower, and when you have that superpower, there's people that can help you learn to use it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Davis. Eric, what's one thing grad students should take advantage of?
Yep, I would say if you ever have a reasonable opportunity, even if you're a distance student, to travel, whether it's to a conference or to do some sort of study abroad or to have some sort of industrial internship, externship sort of experience where you have the chance to reposition yourself in a place where you're having a practical learning experience that is outside of the norm, absolutely jump on it 100%. It will be one of the most transformative experiences you have. It will shape your point of view. It's going to impact the way you think about your learning in the context of where you end up and the experience you have, in, I think, more ways than you expect. So whether it's traveling to a new city to present a poster at a conference that you've never been to before, traveling to a country or even a state that you've never been to before to do a 4-week intensive of something, it will provide you with the greatest ROI on your learning
potentially that you will have throughout the course of your graduate experience. So don't be shy. If a travel opportunity comes up and you think you can swing it, absolutely jump on it.
Great advice, Eric. Ariel, what is one opportunity grad students to take advantage of?
Okay, so the overachiever in me wants to say all of them, but that's not realistic. Definitely look at things that fit your schedule, whether it's in person, online. Like Eric said, I am big on conferences because you do not know who you're going to meet. You do not know what you're going to learn. Any opportunity that helps you grow is a great opportunity. And there are so many, even just within VSU. For example, they mentioned the symposium earlier. I participated in that and it was wonderful. We have this opportunity here to meet each other and learn and grow from everyone's experiences. So this has been great. But anytime you can get out and if it sounds like it's going to help you grow, I say look more into it.
Excellent advice. Tyreen, wrap us up. What is one opportunity grad students to take advantage of while a student?
I bet you guys can guess. It's definitely the whole grad assistant. I literally stumbled upon this back in spring, like just trying to look for ways to help with tuition. And luckily, I was right in that window where they were still interviewing and landed an amazing grad assistant position. This will be my third term. They help to pay, they pay your tuition. And then also there's a stipend given for the hours that you're working in that position. Great opportunity to network. I get to go to different events on campus to represent the graduate school. And so it's all encompassing. So for me, it just really came full circle. And Julie, I just wanted to let you know that I've been longer than you in terms of my last master. So I understand the fear, but understand that there's something within you that brought you here. So that's going to be what's going to get you through. So if I can do it, you can do it. But if you ever want to chat, like I'll leave my email just to kind of share some things that I've been able to overcome in terms of challenges to get here. But yeah, the grad assistant is definitely the way to go. Fall, maybe too late for fall, but possibly spring is an option. So keep an eye out on that.
Well, thank you so much. I want to thank everybody, particularly our panelists, for taking time. Again, see, we all live crazy. When someone says we're all busy, so we appreciate that and sharing your insights to these young scholars coming into these programs that are coming into. And again, I've seen and Gwen, you've seen this too, a lot of great conversations and people sharing information out there. So, you just posted, did you post the link for the survey? I was getting ready to load that up. There is a survey in the chat is my next thing. If you could take a few minutes, it's a short survey. Chris Downing created, it helps us make changes and create this what we're offering here for what students are looking for. So it helps. We do listen, we do read, we get debriefings on this. Chris Downey does a great job of collecting that data. So if you could fill out that survey. I see some other people in chat, so I'm going to just hit my link while it's still there. It's a short one. It's through a tiny URL. And then if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to Dr. DeCruz or anybody that you saw on this panel. Hopefully, if they feel comfortable sharing that information out there. And Gwen, I'm going to pass it off to you because you're going to share what does the BlazeVIEW look like.
Come on, there we go. Okay, for some reason my everything has decided to slow down. So it's like even my computer's been up since 4 a.m. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so I'm sharing my email is here. So if anyone has questions, well, it's just not even gonna go through. Okay, all right. Hopefully this is gonna work. But everything has slowed down on my computer. To be able to show, nuts, I bet it's not gonna load. Rats. I don't know, I live out in the middle of, well, it's like, we're so country, they spell it with a K out here. It's that rural. So I don't know if it's the weather that's doing it.
Hey Gwen, my link to the survey is not working.
All right, let me go back and grab what Chris sent me.
I grabbed the link off the sheet that was shared. I saw the comments in there. It's not working.
Yeah.
I know. Been that kind of day.
All right, so copy link. Let me come back over here.
We're going to repost that link up there. I know. Thank you for letting me know on that. Should have tested it beforehand, but I was multitasking. So
Yeah,
I agree
really.
with you. That's why I'm not a good multitasker. If not, I'm sure we'll have Dr. Cruz resend it
It
out
said
to
the
all
link's
y'all.
not active.
Right, we're working on it. Thank you. Okay, I'm trying to get it to go. There we go. And try that again. That's the one Chris emailed me. Did he email that to you too, David?
No, I didn't get it. I was going through. Yes, that works. So
That one did? Oh, yippo. All
yes.
right, cool.
I was just using the one from the link, the wrap up. So
Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to be able to share my screen here, gang. Hopefully this will work. If it's too sluggish, we'll go ahead and call it. But I'll give you a quick 1-2 tour of BlazeVIEW. Let's try this one. I'm going to come over here. All right, Dave, can you?
I can see your screen.
Can you? All right, you see my BlazeVIEW?
Yeah.
Okay, so let me actually do this one and go like so. So gang, when you to access BlazeVIEW, you'll first go to the valdosta.edu screen. Can you see my VSU screen, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you'll do that. You go here to My VSU. You'll put in your login credentials, and of course, you'll have to do two-factor authentication, which is, super fun and so efficient. So you'll do that. Once you do it, you'll come to nuts, I should have done this. Anyway, you'll come to another screen. You'll select BlazeVIEW, which will bring you, come on, buddy, here. Now, you'll notice all of my courses are over, tons of courses are over to the right. Yours will not, yours will have whatever, yours will not have courses over here because mine are pinned. So I can't remember what it looks like, Dave, if you don't pin your courses. Are they, oh, they're just down here. You just scroll
Yeah, they're
down
just down there.
and you'll see your courses. So yeah, here's my equine course that I'm teaching.
You've got a little bit of lag,
So you'll
just
find,
FYI, Gwen.
okay, yeah, I can hear it with yours too. So if I were to click on my, let me go here. Here's my adult learning class. If I click there, everything is super duper slow. And each course, each professor's course can look different because we have different design options that we can use. So just because mine looks like this, you may see something that looks slightly different. But the general idea is your courses are here. Those are little hamburger tiles. You can click on that to also find your courses. Go to content. And when you do that, you'll have, generally faculty will organize by module. So, and at the top, you'll generally find the syllabus, the intro from the faculty member, the course schedule, things like that, and then each of the modules throughout the, for the semester. And, excuse me, so there's the course on that, the different assignments that you'll have, quizzes, things like that. You can plunk around in here. There's very little, and David, tell me if I'm wrong when I say, and Debbie too. So tell me if I'm wrong, and Dr. Gunn, tell me if I'm wrong when I say this. There's very little that you can click on in BlazeVIEW that you would screw up from the student side that's irreparable, right?
I don't.
Unless you were to start a
yeah,
quiz or
I guess when I
something.
beta test my stuff as a student, it's pretty.
Yeah, I don't think you can mess anything up as a student. And I'm gonna go ahead and mute because my baby. But no, as a student, you can't destroy anything in BlazeVIEW.
Yeah, so you all can get in there, just look around, click on things, explore, see what there is, okay? That classes meet online. Belinda, what program are you in? Because what I'm going to recommend is that is a function of
DPA.
Excuse me, to my knowledge, all of our DPA. Yeah, it's like Dr. Gunn says, it's course specific. All of our programs that are online, to my knowledge, they are all asynchronous. Excuse me.
I don't know. I would
But certain
look on your. I'm sorry, Gwen. While you're trying not to choke to death.
Go ahead.
I would go in your schedule, and does it say synchronous or asynchronous when it comes to the schedule? Would that say on that? And then I don't know if Dr. Gunn or you can answer that. I don't know if it lists.
It would be listed if it's an online course, and if it has like specific meeting times, sometimes it'll be listed in when you register for the course. But my big suggestion would be to your instructor would have meeting times if you're going to have a synchronous meeting within your online course. Your instructor will give you those dates.
Yeah, you won't be able to access the course until Monday. Weird, I'm seeing myself in triplicate. It's freaking me out.
You're having meta. So that's pretty much it. You can just get in there and play around. Those of you who have embedded librarians, there's often down here, you'll see a module over here on the left for the embedded librarian. I think that's generally that's how I do it. I would assume other professors, they would have it right here as a easy breezy link. Okay. So that's pretty much it. That's oops, excuse me, I'm gonna come back and find you guys. Before I quit sharing, is there any other questions or things on BlazeVIEW that anyone would like to see the visual? All right, well, I'm gonna stop sharing that. There we go. And now, Dave, you don't have to see yourself in triplicate.
It's freaking me out, man. So again, I know it's frustrating that you don't get access to the class, but almost if it were face-to-face, you don't get all that stuff until you go to the class that day. But check your schedules. It might say if there is a specific meeting time, and you know, if you're super worried, reach out and email the instructor of the class. That should be listed somewhere on your schedule. And then hopefully they should get back to you in a reasonable amount of time within that. But if you're a go-getter, you will be at Monday at like what 12:01 a.m. Monday. You can probably get on BlazeVIEW probably and go hard in the paint, as I like to say. And also, too, if you go to the grad, I don't know if Dr. DeCruz mentioned this, there's a lot of great resources if you just go to the graduate school page and click on students, too, as well. And then, you know, take as much advantage as we can of those resources available to you. I don't know if there's any other questions. Anything like that. I wish you the best of luck. I'm sure you don't need it because you're all going to like excel and embiggen your brains with this great knowledge that was talked about. So again, we appreciate you coming here and being part of this. We hope you got something from it. Please provide us some feedback so we know how to make this better in the long run. Again, thank you again to all the participants. Gwen, I want to thank you for your help. Dr. Gond, appreciate your help when we were troubleshooting with those people. It's always, technology is always our best worst enemy out there. So again, best of luck this semester, everybody, man. Kick tail and take names. I'm going to go home and eat. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you to Dr. Caruth for her help as well and for being here. We appreciate it. And thank you for Dr. Nelson for emceeing yet again. Bye, gang.